You're 19, broke, and hollowed out by hunger in the winter of 1963 Chicago. The city howls outside, wind knifing between skyscrapers that look like cages made of glass. You sit on a borrowed couch in a half-furnished apartment where the wallpaper peels like dead skin. Rent is due by Friday. The landlord's knocks are harder every week. On the flickering black and white TV, the ad appears, now auditioning. Playboy bunnies. Attractive. Friendly. No experience required. You stare. Your high school diploma is rolled tight in a drawer, worth less than the paper it's printed on. You have long legs, painted nails, and no safety net. That ad doesn't look like a job. It looks like a doorway. Out of poverty. Out of fear. Out of this cage. You arrive the next morning in heels that pinch, a dress borrowed from your roommate, and lipstick applied with shaking hands. You expected a line of 20 girls. Instead, you step into a hall crawling with hundreds. Hair teased into clouds. Perfume heavy as smoke. Every girl wears the same look in her eyes, desperation disguised as glamour. A woman with a chalkboard snaps your name. Smile, she commands, as though a grin were a weapon. Shoulders back. Now walk. You walk. You pose. You don't breathe. Then she enters. The bunny mother. Tall as judgment, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. She inspects you the way a farmer inspects cattle. Up, down, sideways. You feel naked in your borrowed dress, though you're still covered. A pause. A nod. You'll do. And with that, you step into America's most glamorous meat market. Underscore 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 the uniform arrives in a box like a coffin's gift. Corset, ears, bow tie, cuffs, pantyhose, 3-inch heels. Black satin gleams like oil slick. You try it on. You can't breathe. You whisper, "Is there a bigger size?" The seamstress laughs sharp and cold. You're not here to be comfortable, sweetheart. You're here to be seen. You learn the bunny stance. One leg tucked behind the other, back rigid, smile fixed like paint. You are not allowed to slouch, even when your toes go numb. The stance becomes a prison posture, a body language of obedience. By 21 your feet have stopped bleeding daily. Not because the shoes are kinder, but because the skin has hardened. Bruises on your ribs have turned into welts. Your waist is a shrinking circle. You begin to mistake pain for proof that you still exist. The club doors open at 6. You arrive by 4. Hair teased higher, lashes longer, lips redder. Each night you paint your body into a mask. Each night you tie yourself into a corset that leaves hooks etched into your skin like hieroglyphs of suffering. The men arrive with keys jingling at their belts. Doctors, politicians, businessmen. They look at you as if you were currency. They call you baby, bunny, sometimes worse. They slap your tail, grin at your discomfort, and expect you to laugh like it's a joke. You carry trays heavy enough to snap your wrist. 5 cocktails balanced in trembling hands. Spill one, and you're fined. Drop one, and you're humiliated. Another girl once stole a French fry from the kitchen. She was fined $50 and gone by morning. Rules are survival. And survival has no room for hunger. Your rival is Valerie, a redhead with a smile sharp as broken glass. Once, she bumped your tray so champagne rained like diamonds, then blamed the table. You lost $200 in an instant. Her warning rings in your head. Bunnies don't fight. They sabotage. By 23, the bruises have faded into permanent marks. You move like a dancer, fluid, graceful, fake. You've mastered the art of crying without ruining your eyeliner, of flirting without meaning it, of smiling when you want to vanish. Your reflection no longer feels like you. You've become the uniform, the tail, the ears, the smile. And yet, some nights, survival feels like triumph. Some nights, the mask feels stronger than your own skin. Until you realize the mask is all you have left. You are 26 when you arrive in New York. The Manhattan Playboy Club is louder, richer, sharper, and crueler. Chicago was a rehearsal. Here, the stage is bigger, the stakes meaner. The girls are beautiful like razors, sharp enough to cut and quick enough to hide the blood. The hierarchy is written in lipstick and bruises. The best trays go to the youngest. The best nights go to the freshest. You are neither. There is a new girl. Denise. 17, maybe 18. Legs like stilts, eyes wide as glass. She asks endless questions. Where to stand, how to pour wine, how to tuck the corset so it doesn't split her ribs. You help her. Adjust her ears. Fix her cuffs. Valerie would never have helped a new girl. But Valerie is gone. Nobody says her name anymore. You still remember the night she left, the whispers about a man who followed her home. Later, they found her uniform in a dumpster. Nothing else. The silence around her name feels heavier than truth. Denise reminds you of yourself. Nervous. Hopeful. Already walking the edge of a cliff she can't see. She looks at you with gratitude. You look at her and feel sick. The air inside the Manhattan Club is different. More dangerous. The men are bolder now. Hands linger longer. Words grow dirtier. The bunny mother warns you, but only after it happens. Survival is your responsibility. One night, a man with a scar across his neck starts asking for you. Always you. His teeth gleam like piano keys. His tips are heavy, but his eyes are heavier. He waits for you after work. You walk fast. He walks faster. His shadow breathes against yours. You make it to the subway stairs before he catches up. Just want to talk, he says. You don't answer. You don't run either. Because running means surrender. At 28, your body has become a ledger of every bad night. Ankles that crack. Toes without feeling. Hips notched with corset scars. A cough that doesn't leave. You still wear the uniform. You still stand straight. You still smile. Denise rises quickly. Promoted to cigarette bunny. Better section. Better tips. Less bending. You smile and say, congratulations. Inside, it burns. Not because she doesn't deserve it, but because you know her story hasn't been written yet, and you know how these stories usually end. The managers cut your shifts. They call it rotation, but you know better. You're aging out of their fantasy. Tuesdays and graveyards are what you're left with. The tourists who don't tip. The drunks who don't remember your name. One night, you hear laughter by the lockers. A man's voice. Then Denise's voice, not laughing. You open the door. The club manager's hand rests too low on her waist. She pulls away when he sees you. He straightens his tie, leaves without a word. You don't report it. There's no one to report it to. A few weeks later, Denise transfers to Vegas. You never hear from her again. By 29, you know you are sinking. Fewer shifts. Colder stares. Your uniform looks older than you. Satin frayed, tail thinning. It feels more like a costume than a second skin. You tell yourself you'll put it on one last time. Just once more. Your section that night is nearly empty. Dead tables. Dead air. You walk the floor anyway. Shoulders back. Smile sharp. Just as you were taught. That's when you see him. The scar on his neck. The gold watch flashing. The man who followed you years ago. He smiles, wide and poisonous. You turn away. He follows into the kitchen hallway. He grabs your arm. Miss me? He sneers. For the first time in years, you don't smile. You don't laugh it off. You twist your arm free and stare straight into his teeth. Touch me again, I scream. He laughs, waiting for you to break. But you don't. You hold his stare. And this time, he leaves first. Your hands are shaking when you walk back to the floor. But your back is straight. Your smile is gone. You finish the shift. You hang up your uniform. And you never come back. Underscore 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 you are 30 now. Not a bunny. Not a wife. Not anyone they'd remember. You rent a room above a laundromat in Milwaukee. The walls smell like detergent. You teach dance classes to little girls whose smiles are still whole, who believe the world is gentle. You never tell them where you used to work. Your corset sits in a box under your bed, folded like a dead skin. Some nights you feel it tightening your ribs in your sleep. Some nights you wake to the phantom ache of high heels, the ghost of smoke, the weight of a tray you're no longer carrying. Once a month you dream of the club. The lights, the laughter, the smell of liquor. The scarred man's breath on your neck. You wake silent and sweating. One afternoon, you pass a newsstand. A glossy magazine flashes a bunny on the cover. At first, you think it's Denise. But it's not her. It never is. You wonder how many of you are out there. Girls who made it. Girls who didn't. Girls who vanished like Valerie. You will never know. But you know this. You walked away. You made it out whole enough to keep going. Not untouched, not unbroken, but alive. And one day, when you finally take that corset out of the box and throw it away, you do not cry. You just exhale. Because survival isn't glamour. Survival isn't beauty. Survival is victory. And victory, however quiet, is enough.